This book, The Philadelphia Chromosome, I would really recommend it to two people. One, laypersons who are really just interested in the history of cancer, how we've discovered what we've discovered, where we came from in terms of cancer discovery and treatment, and really where we're going in terms of cancer discovery and treatment. And the other people that I would recommend this to would be any university students who are taking or interested in taking a cancer biology courses or anything like that at the undergraduate level. Reading this book beforehand would definitely benefit you in doing that. As for the presentation and the way that she formats the book, basically she starts off talking about cancer, its history, its discovery, and then the treatments for it, and then she uses, I guess, from a very personal perspective, if that makes sense. So you're not going to hear about just a generic, boring overview of the history of cancer. No, no, no. We're going to learn about the specific scientists, the way that they investigated things, and what those scientists were like when they were working, the attitudes that they had as they were going through it, and the way that's what I like so much about the way that she presents this stuff, is it's like a first-person view of this basically crusade that we've gone on against cancer from the very beginning in the 50s to basically modern-day treatments of cancer. I have no problem with the formatting and the presentation of this book. It's very well clear, concise. It was actually one of the fastest books I've ever read. I think I read it in 2 to 3 days because it was just so good at drawing you in from a first-person perspective. And that's something that I think that we need to have, not just in terms of writing, but in terms of how we go about telling stories of things and educating people about famous experiments and things like that have been done, and from a first-person perspective. So as for the prose, if you're like me, I learned a lot from this book, especially at the time that I had read it. I didn't know what tyrosine kinases were. I didn't really know much about their role in proliferation and how they were discovered, and the Able viruses and all that RSV stuff that was happening there. So the pros of this is that you are getting not only just a entertaining story from a first-person perspective, but you're also getting quite a bit of information, I think, from it that's very useful information to have presented to you, not in a textbook format. It's being presented to you in the format of a story, in the format of an experience, and that is something that I really liked about it. The only con that I think I have is the fact that she kind of lingers on certain topics a little bit too long. But that's more or less nitpicking than it is being a con. There's really not anything negative I could have to say about this book. It's very well written. It's very entertaining to read. But you have to have an interest in this stuff beforehand. It's not going to make you interested in it. So I guess I'm going to be biased in anything that I have to say about this. For the sources cited, it's not an argumentative type of book. It's not a book. The sources tab doesn't really pertain to this, so I'm not going to talk about that. Overall, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Very, very good at teaching, very good at information, learn a lot about cancer from this. Definitely recommend this if you're an undergraduate student interested in taking cancer biology beforehand, or if you read it while you're in cancer biology class, but also has a lot of relevance to biochemistry and microbiology as well.